In a world that has collapsed into a series of images, it is difficult to determine what is real and what is hyper-real. In 2018, Elon Musk made the decision to smoke weed on the Joe Rogan Experience, which helped him propel the enigmatic persona he strives to portray. For him, it didn't matter if Tesla's stock price took a dive, because the memory of him smoking that joint would be burnt into our memories for far longer than that day alone. It was free advertising in all of our minds for an eternity. Hello everyone, I'm in human form. As we dig into the cult of Elon Musk, be sure to subscribe to my channel if you enjoy analysis videos on interesting topics like this. Elon Musk has quickly become one of the most recognizable figures in the world in recent years, and for most of you watching, this is old news. What is shocking about this circumstance is the fanatic following this billionaire's celebrity is generating. This army of followers are fans of Tesla and Elon who vehemently defend him against public criticism at all costs, aggressively promoting him as an amazing person who should be admired, loved, and respected. In a world that is being pillaged by the wealthy, why are we counting on a billionaire to save the planet? We'll take a look in this video. When I started thinking about this topic, I knew I didn't want Elon and his achievements to be the focal point of this video, because there's plenty of that type of content around the internet. Instead, I wanted the focus to be put on his followers, who have come up in conversation enough times recently that it's prompted me to actually make this video. However, if we want to completely understand the cult-like nature of the Elon fanbase, we must first look at the hand that rocks the cradle. Before we look into some arguments against the eco-tycoon and his fanbase, it's important to note that it's evidence of how far we've progressed in society when the world's richest man is willing to bring an incredible amount of attention to environmental issues. With a staggering $260 billion in wealth, Elon Musk, at the point of this video, is the wealthiest person on the planet. His extraordinary wealth and persona seem different from the typical billionaire. But why? Despite all the media coverage surrounding him, it's actually difficult to really understand who he is. He is hailed by many as a pioneer of scientific innovation and a leader in the fight against climate change in a world that is at an existential tipping point. After joining electric vehicle manufacturer Tesla as chairman in 2004, he would eventually become CEO in 2007. Tesla and Musk were quickly launched into the spotlight with the release of their vehicle, the Model S, in 2012. From then on, the technology boom of the 2010s would solidify him as celebrity tech icon of the future.
I don't think a lot of people know this, but China's environmental policies are way ahead of the U.S. Their mandate for renewable energy far exceeds the U.S. I think sometimes people are under the impression that China is either dragging their feet or somehow behind the U.S. in terms of sustainable energy promotion, but they're by far the most aggressive on Earth.
His grand plans for underground road systems and colonizing Mars have been congratulated by fans, despite being refuted by experts in corresponding fields. For some, he is more than just his achievements. He is a source of inspiration and motivation. In a society where extreme wealth and endless consumerism are held in high esteem, people are vulnerable to becoming victims of things like hustle culture and excessive devotion to achieving social status. For them, someone like Elon Musk is the idealized example of this obsession with work paying off.
You're CEO of two companies, you're chairman of Solar City. Talk about time management. How on earth do you do this?
Well,
do you get any sleep?
Yeah, sometimes not enough. Sleep is really great, because I find if I don't get enough sleep, then I'm quite grumpy.
Is this supposed super genius a true example of what someone could become under the system of capitalism? Arguments could be made against this. In reality, the manufacturing and sale of Elon's electric vehicle brand Tesla is heavily subsidized and paid for by the public sector. For example, Tesla has received $1.3 billion in special incentives from the state of Nevada to build its battery factory within the state, $195 million in transferable tax credits, which Tesla could sell for cash, and an exemption from having to pay any property tax for the next 20 years. These are only a few examples of the world's richest man stepping on the backs of the American taxpayer. His fans claim that he is a self-made super genius who built his companies from the ground up with his intelligence. In truth, he was born into a wealthy South African family to a father who owned an emerald mine, but denies the fact that his father's financial status benefited him in his youth. Musk also has a notorious history of mistreating and creating harsh working conditions for his employees. For example, when Elon's SpaceX paid a $4 million settlement for a lawsuit in which thousands of employees alleged the company failed to properly compensate them, in addition to refusing them the right to take legally mandated breaks during the workday. So it's hardly surprising that Tesla employees have suffered twice as many serious injuries in the workplace by comparison to other factories in the same industry. In 2018, former Tesla employee Crystal Gardado reported that Musk and Tesla use a vague drug use policy to target and punish employees who are seen as a threat. Gardado claimed that her support of the United Auto Workers Union was really the cause for her termination, not failing to pass the drug screening. Following her termination, Musk himself was seen smoking marijuana on the Joe Rogan podcast, a controversial action that caused the decline of Tesla's stock price. Elon is guarded about his image and without a doubt seeks to be portrayed as a futurist, as an innovator. He knows that the media that the public consume affects the way they think, and he knows how to use this to his advantage. Elon knows that he is his brand, not his products, but his personality, and he is taking advantage of this in a way the world has never seen before. And despite the well-documented contradictions to his public image, his fans still display an unshakable devotion and obedience to the billionaire. This leads us to our next section. What is a cult of personality? The American Psychological Association describes this as an exaggerated devotion to charismatic political, religious, or other types of leaders, or leader. The leaders of such groups are known to use imagery and the manipulation of mass media to form a superhuman version of their persona in the minds of their followers. These followers then accept the authority of the leader and become devoted to their mission to bring about an imagined future. Though these movements are often associated with political leaders like Joseph Stalin, the prominence of such a dynamic is rising as media becomes increasingly sophisticated and accessible. Leaders can easily spread and control their messages by becoming social media influencers or the instructor of a fitness cult. If you don't know what that is, you should definitely look it up. I can't really explain it in this video, but it's ridiculous. They can be anywhere, in any social dynamic. Originally introduced by sociologist Max Weber was the concept of charismatic authority, which is seen as an essential component to the types of leadership that can inspire a cult of personality. The leader must be considered extraordinary by the followers and treated as having supernatural or exceptional powers. This ideal leader must also promise a form of change from the existing state of affairs, disrupting the status quo with the promise of a revolutionary reform of some sort. The followers then place these hopes of change within the hands of the charismatic leader. Why is this information important? Does the cult of personality description apply to Elon Musk and his fanbase? Many fans would disagree with this notion and might claim that it's an alarmist or pessimistic outlook on the legacy of this tech icon. Maybe they're right, maybe they're wrong. But before we decide, let's take a look at the behaviors exhibited by this fanbase. As mentioned before, these individuals look beyond Elon's achievements. For them, he is a source of inspiration and motivation, a glimmer of hope. There are countless videos here on YouTube that take quotes from his interviews and frame them as motivational speeches, Instagram pages that use his quotes to promote hustle culture, and a 52-page coloring book of illustrations of his most inspirational tweets. The artist that created this coloring book, Selena Rubio Karch, considers herself more of a follower than a fan. She is quoted as saying, "Elon has a bigger, complete vision of where we're going as a species, and he is helping people remember that progress is good, and it doesn't have to be this terrible thing." She claims that the media cherry-picks stories and uses them as weapons against Elon and his mission, which she claims is essential for human survival. Musk also takes part in promoting this grand image, portraying himself as a visionary of the future who wants to preserve human consciousness by colonizing space. The cryptocurrency community has also become influenced by Elon's online presence in recent months. Most recently, when he drove up the price of Dogecoin with his tweets and promotion of the volatile cryptocurrency. He was quoted saying, "Bitcoin just gives power to new, rich people. That's why I'm pro Dogecoin." Interesting quote coming from the world's richest man. Investors followed the word of the tech billionaire and quickly poured their savings into the highly speculative crypto market, without any doubts about their investment decision. But the consequences of his followers' behaviors aren't limited to themselves, but other innocent people as well. This is where the infamous and elite group of Elon Musk fans come in. Tesla fanboys, as they are often called, are extremist fans of Tesla and Elon Musk that attack whatever they see as a threat to Tesla's integrity and Elon Musk's identity. To be fair, the majority of the fans of Elon Musk and Tesla are not this extreme. This group is made up of mostly young men, some of which who don't own a Tesla electric vehicle, who refuse to accept criticism and will attack whoever attempts to do so. These attacks are directed towards those who are deemed anti-Tesla by Elon himself, or anyone who dares write an unfavorable review of the manufacturer. In a particularly harsh manner towards female journalists and scientists, which have been the target of sexist and racist threats and comments from these devoted fans. Some Tesla fans have been appropriately fighting back this malicious behavior on social media in an effort to counter the hardliner Tesla fans. You could say that this is merely enthusiasm towards a new and exciting company and its leader, and that the critics are just overreacting. This may be true. However, it is important to remember that the person that backs this following is the wealthiest person on the planet, and the attacks and threats are real. This position should always be taken seriously. So why are people, especially young men, so enamored by Elon Musk and his companies? Living in the postmodern world as a man is confusing. Masculinity has not been able to keep up with the rapid changes in society. Men are abandoning formal education in record numbers, and the demand for instant gratification is growing. In a world that is lacking real representation, people must turn to what is more real than real. Idolizing someone who is as educated and forward-thinking as Musk portrays himself to be makes his followers feel intelligent and forward-thinking as well. They don't have to feel left behind in the commonness of reality. They too can become a representation of something that was once real. Cult-like groups and similar organizations prey on vulnerable people like this. People who are seeking validation and looking for something to be passionate about. To put it simply, it's much more difficult to notice a cult environment before someone actually tells you it might be a cult. I appreciate it if you've watched this video all the way to this point. If you want to help my channel, watch one of these videos that pop up on your screen and hit subscribe. Thank you.